Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. Today we'll be discussing all things cricket. Musti and me, we usually tend to miss cricket when it's not there, even though it's just been 2 days. But there's been a lot that's gone on. The Ashes has been dominant from the Australian side. We'll talk a little bit about that. The very talked about Ashwin article that came out recently that we've been discussing. We'll talk about that, and we'll just touch up on India South Africa as well, as that's around the corner as well. So pretty much all things cricket.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the most talked about article in the recent couple of days, the Ashwin article, where he has gone on and said that he's become obsessed with the patterns of batsmen and stuff like that, and he spoke in length about the Steve Smith, his thinking behind the Steve Smith situation, how he uses data to really take it up a notch, and he's always been good at analyzing batsmen, and he's taken it up a notch with the use of technology and stuff like that. We know in football, Kevin De Bruyne has taken away from the agent, the big agent form, and he's gone on and he's spoken about his own contract with City and gotten a very good contract with City as well. So things like that are starting to creep in. We've seen with Kevin De Bruyne. Now we are hearing it from in for the first time, I think, in cricket with Ashwin. Musti, your thoughts? I know you read through it. I know you did a lot of research behind it. I will be a little biased because Ashwin's my boy, but I think a little bit more straight up from Musti. Your thoughts on the article?
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic article. It was very gripping. From the minute I started reading it, without any exaggeration, I couldn't let go of it. I just kept reading, and it was pretty long. It took me like 10, 15 minutes. I don't know if I'm a slow reader. It was long, but I felt that, oh, this is a long article. But I've read articles like these. It's on Cricket for, I think, the Cricket Monthly. These they go into in depth and everything, and I think Siddharth Monga did an excellent job because his questions were really good as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Ashwin answered it brilliantly. He was like a doctor, the way he was answering and everything. But we know that about Ashwin. He's more than just a cricketer. He has that brain behind him. He has his own podcast. He likes to dissect, and I think he's a cricket nerd.
Yeah.
But I think the way Siddharth Monga also got into those questions, and he went into specifics. He actually talked also about Ravi Shastri and like him getting dropped and everything. I think those were kind of probing questions, but
Yeah.
they were put nicely. And also he didn't go directly into that Virat Kohli situation, but I think he was hinting at Kohli. But he didn't say anything directly, so I cannot say anything. But in terms of Ravi Shastri, that was very big, where Ashwin said that basically, when he talked about Kuldeep Yadav picking up Pfeiffer and he's India's main spinner, that hurt Ashwin. And, he doesn't need to get motivated like that, because Ravi Shastri said that he was trying to light a fire. But Ashwin's like, I don't need to get motivated like that. So he was talking truth. But he also said that he respects Ravi Shastri, and he holds him in high esteem. And also for any cricketer, whether it be Ashwin or even like a Siraj, who might not express it like how Ashwin expressed it, but anyone gets dropped, they're not going to like it, right? Like if it's me and you also, one day we're not in our team or even in our club team, we will get a bit of upset, like, oh, no one has that big of a heart where it's no, it's okay. Like, of course you say that in the end, but of course he was upset and everything, but I think he's become more mature now. And for me, the best part of the article was that the Smith and Root, how he sets them up, and he was going into analytics, the way like Joe Root doesn't play more than 2 consecutive dot balls, the way he set up Smith, the leg side trap, trying to make him play on the leg side and trying to get that offside out of the equation for Root and Smith. It was brilliant. I really like the tactics part. But also, I wanted to add from my point, just a counter, like, I'm not devil's advocate, but just a counter that, when he was said, like, fair enough, when you're injured, like, you shouldn't be unfairly criticized. And I, I agree with that. Like, and now I know what injuries are. I'm getting them myself as I get older. So I understand that. But one thing is for sure that, like, when that 2018 tour, when Moeen Ali is getting more wickets than you will get criticism.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that criticism, I don't know how it was given. Maybe someone gave it unfairly, but I think most of the criticism was fair. Like, come on, if Moeen Ali is getting more wickets than you, then thing. And up until this Australia tour, I think he had an issue away from home, and he's worked on that. And one thing I also missing from the article, I don't know if you heard anything on it or read anything on it, was this England tour, why he didn't play there. I think they missed that part out. So if there's any not criticism, anything missed out, what I would like to know more was that, basically.
Yeah, I think I agree with you 100%. I think that the way the criticism is always fair. I don't think that there's any, if you don't get wickets as a spinner, you're always going to be criticized, especially if you're up there as the most talked about spinner in Indian cricket right now. I think some of that criticism was fair. I think in 2018, I think what personally I believe happened to him was he started thinking too much about his cricket. He was over analyzing everything, and he was he because of that. I think he lost a little bit of the form and his own belief in himself, I think, and that's what the problem was. I think he came out of that pretty well, and then he turned everything around, and now you can see in the he's almost undroppable in Test cricket. He's come back in white ball and with the T20s as well. So there's a lot that he can be very proud of in his career with the way he's come back and stuff like that. My question to you, though, I think one of the important things that we talked about, you touched up a little bit about it, uh, the use of the way he used data, and that's what I mean. For me, I like the data industry as well. For me, data is very important. So the way he touched up upon using data of Steve Smith and Joe Root, you think a bowler of his caliber with his skill, if he can add that data touch to it and he can really break into patterns, it's going to be very hard for someone to leave habits. Like, for example, if you catch a bad habit of a Manas Labuschagne or a Steve Smith, and if you can dissect into that and really trouble them with that, it'll be very hard for them to change the habit because it takes a while to change the habit. So those things can really go out. You can go out there and really, take your bowling to the next level. Your thoughts on that specific aspect?
Yeah, no, I think obviously, if you like you said, if you can catch something small or anything like that, it can really help. But then there's also a counter to it where Labuschagne and Smith will also have data on Ashwin. It's not
Yeah.
like they won't have data; they'll know exactly what he's trying to do, what he's not trying to do. So it's always trying to outsmart the other. Who does it faster? Who uses the data more? And also, you have to go with instinct as well. Sometimes you just need to rely on your instinct, your strength, and just go with that.
Correct.
Sometimes it could be a chop on and he's out, right? Like you can use all the data in the world. Maybe I can come in one delivery and get somebody caught out. So it has to be a good balance. I feel that's what I always believe in life in general, that you need to balance it out. You can't just rely on data or just your skill. You have to mix it up. And but you also have to adapt. Like this is the era of data, this is the era of technology, and if you can get an advantage, then why not, right?
Yeah.
But use it to your benefit, but as long as it's not doing any harm to you or anything like that, then of course you should use it. And but my only thing is that it can be countered, right? It's not something that you'll have a full-time advantage on, but it can be countered, and it is used. I think in cricket these days, all teams have data analysts. They have all these technologies where they figure out people's weaknesses and strengths and everything like that. So I think it's already happening, and Ashwin has been doing it. But at the same time, like Labuschagne did score 100 in that series, didn't he? So like he also had something over Ashwin in that sense as well. So I think it causes for more. It leads to more competition as well, and the cat and mouse game also becomes a bit more, because they're all trying to outthink each other, and you'll also get to see more different things like creative fields, bowling around the wicket, setting a more dominant leg side field. You'll see more creativeness with data. I think that's something that you will get to see, but at the same time, it should be a balance.
Yeah, I think I agree with you 100% over there. It's been quite a revelation that someone like an Ashwin is starting this. I think more we'll be talking about this a lot more with more people starting to really use these kind of tactics and data and involving data and their thing. But like you said, I think the questions that Sid Monga actually put out there was phenomenal, and I think he also did a very good mix of talking about the data analytics aspect of things, plus asking him his personal problems, and we talked about the personal problems a little bit about him being dejected and him being almost in some sort of depression when he was dropped and when he was talked about as not the leading spinner anymore. It goes to show someone as mature and someone as calm headed as an Ashwin, also these things can affect. So the current situation of Virat Kohli, these things will affect the Virat Kohli, the likes of Virat, the likes of Rohit, and that's the problem that we are seeing in Indian cricket, and and something that needs to be looked into seriously. Someone like an Ajinkya or a Pujara also could get affected by these kind of things.
Yeah, but from what I see on the field, right, Virat Kohli, I don't think he has a problem with Ashwin as a player. I think he genuinely feels that in certain situations he's better off playing that extra fast bowler or playing a Jadeja.
Yeah.
I think he genuinely feels that, and to be honest with you, the results have kind of proved it.
Yeah.
When he did back Ashwin in England, they did lose that series. I'm not saying it was Ashwin's fault, but I'm just saying like I think it's for cricketing reasons. I don't think it's he has a personal issue with Ashwin or anything like that, or Ravi Shastri has a personal issue with Ashwin. I think it was for cricketing reasons. And now whether like you or me agree, that's a different point. Like, maybe if someone else was the captain, they would have played Ashwin, but then what would happen? Someone like a Jadeja or Siraj wouldn't get a chance. So then
Correct.
we would be discussing about that, right? So I feel that in cricket, one person will miss out. Unfortunately, like, Ashwin is a legend. He's been playing for so long. He has these many wickets. He speaks very well as well. So he's in the talk right now. But if he was taking someone else's position like a Jadeja who's giving you 50, 60 runs, then you'd be talking about Jadeja as well. So
Correct.
I think that's what it is. I purely feel like, of course, if I'm Ashwin, I will be upset as well. Like, I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to be in the team. He deserves to be in the team, and he's improved as a player,
Yeah.
for sure. And I think if that England tour in 2018 didn't happen, we wouldn't have seen Ashwin be so successful in Australia. I think it drove him. It might not be he might have not felt it directly, but I think it motivated him more to come back stronger and better, and the variations that he used, and going into this data and doing extra homework. We always talk about kids doing their homework and stuff. This guy is doing his homework at the age of 32, 33. I think that has been there because he's in and out of the team, so it makes him like to be on top of his game whenever needed.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. I'm looking forward to more players using that in their favor.
I
And
think they do, bro, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah,
I
it's
think they
possible.
do.
It's
It's
definitely
just that
possible.
he probably, like, he's a nerd, so he
Yeah,
probably uses it
takes it to
more.
the next level is what he
Yeah,
said. So
I think the difference is that he asks for that data and he uses it himself, and he does like I think he took videos from nets, like I
yeah,
don't know exactly which journalist it was, but when Australia were playing New Zealand before, he took video footage of Labuschagne and Smith from the nets, and he analyzed that. So he's getting it from other places. He's taking self-interest, but I think you have data analysts in each team who come to the players. Whether the players use it or not, that's a different thing, but I'm sure they do have it in teams
I agree.
meeting.
I agree 100%. It was just a fun article to just kind of go through,
Excellent.
and yeah, it was just something refreshing to read per se. But hopefully more of that from him. I'm
Oh, you're
hoping.
talking about more articles like this to come
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about using data, but yeah, I agree with you over there.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping like more we can get more insights from different people of how they use
Yeah,
data and kinds of like just for our own personal benefit as well
yeah,
of
100%.
understanding how the interior of the team works and stuff like that. With that being said, I think the big next big challenge, of course, for Ashwin is the South Africa series. Considering Jaddu is injured, he's probably the first choice spinner in that team. And with South Africa, you more than likely will go with three fast bowlers because the fast bowling is important over there. So it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts in different conditions. And that's probably been one of his criticisms has been that outside of India, he apart from the Australian recent tour, he has really struggled. So it'll be a good chance for him to really change that up and see how he's used his data to kind of see and find patterns in the South African batsmen who themselves are fighting a kind of a battle and are not a very solid team at this point. So I think it's best time for India to go out there and beat South Africa, and be interesting to see how that kind of pans out.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like now, I think with all the stock, even improvements that I saw on the field from him, I think we will see a better performance from him. Hopefully, he doesn't get injured. He does have injuries. He mentioned a few injuries
Yeah,
that he's had, and it's caused him problems. So if he's fully fit and everything, if he can last that whole series, it'll be great. But whatever he does play, I think he will contribute to the team. And yeah, honestly, I actually would go with five bowlers, four fast and one spinner. It's a very risky move considering Virat Kohli's form, Rahane's form, Pujara's form. But I think in South Africa, that's the way to go. But also, you could play if it's like a 200 average kind of score every game, then you can rely on your four bowlers as well.
for
So
yeah.
it depends on the situation. But no Nokia there, that's going to be a huge miss for South Africa, and India have an advantage. I think with Nokia, it makes a big difference.
I agree 100%. I think that's a huge loss for South African side that is actually already has some issues. Like, they have some new faces. They're still trying to formulate what is probably a more consistent 11. They usually don't have that. They always have a couple of changes every time. So this is going to be a big loss for Nokia. But I think it's a big chance for a young South African side to really come out there and show their class against a top quality side.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I just wanted to ask you my prediction on the Ashes. How is it going?
Ooh, you're killing it, man, so far. This is just getting to the Ashes, man. I was genuinely expecting more of a fight from England. I think England has just come out so flat. The persistence that we saw from a Josh Butler on day 5 is on the 10th day of cricket, or whatever, the first test match. They come on, like, what are you doing for the first 8 or 9 days of cricket? What is going on? Like, you're expecting that kind of consistency, that kind of persistence from day one. You could still lose the match. It's okay if you lose the match. But what my worry was, there was barely any effort. There was barely any effort. You saw Ollie Robinson get a couple of good sessions, but that's about it in the first test. In the second test, also, you saw, like, okay, suddenly Ollie Robinson is going and bowling spin because you're worried about the over rate and stuff like that. What is going on? Like, what is this, test cricket, or it's like some kind of a like a joke cricket or whatever? It was very, very unfortunate the way England has really uh, uh, gone about their and this is the Ashes. We're not talking about like just a regular bilateral or anything. This is the Ashes, the biggest tournament that red ball cricket has seen. If you negate an India Pakistan situation or whatever, I think this is the pinnacle of Test match cricket, and it's been very, very unfortunate the way England's come out. I really hope that there's a turnaround in the next three. There's a little bit of a break for them to just take a deep breath, go back out there. But this Australian side is ready and is raring to go. So it's going to be hard for them to change things around. So I'm just hoping for a better performance from England, honestly.
Yeah, man, it's been very disappointing. I don't know if you saw this is a clip going viral now, but in 2018, Jeffrey Boycott had said this that they need to give priority to red ball cricket. Otherwise, what's going to happen now is they're just going to go back to England. They're going to win series at home. They're going to forget about the Ashes. India, they'll go to India. They might lose over there, and they'll come back and they'll play some T20 cricket, win some T20 cricket, win at home, and come back 4 years later and lose. That's exactly what's happening. And both times they went to India, they lost, and now they're in Ashes and they're losing in Australia. So I think it's just not giving red ball cricket priority. They chopped and changed even in that India tour, such a big tour. You're leaving out like a Bears tour, but not leaving out. You're giving them rest, like an Anderson Broad. You're mixing it up. I think you have to go with a core 12, 13, and you need to go for it. Then if you have injuries, you can have backup, but you need to have a core team. You have to have a philosophy, a system like you have in white ball cricket. It's so good over there, but in Test cricket, they're just not giving that. What's it called? They're not giving that importance there, and it's very sad to see. They have some high quality players. I still feel there's some players that India would die for, like
Yeah.
Ben Stokes, Joe Root. These kind of players like Jimmy Anderson. These kind of players are outstanding, high class players, but they're just not performing as a team. It just goes to show they haven't prioritized Test cricket. Even at home, they struggled against India, and they're giving too much importance to this 100 T20. It's fine, but I think the Test cricket, the Test players have just not performed. Big problem is that the top opening batsman, Rory Burns, Haseeb Mahmood. I think in Australia the biggest key is to see off that new ball. We saw Pujara and Shubman Gill do it at the Gabba, and we've seen it throughout that series. You have to get body blows. You have to take that. You have to fight it out and take it from there. Their batting has just not clicked, and not enough runs on the board for the bowlers, and fielding has been abysmal, man. Abysmal, but discipline in the field, bowling, no balls, and catches. Butler is taking outstanding catches, then he's dropping sitters. You can't really do that. Labuschagne, bro, I've been seeing this for 2 summers in a row now. This man gives a chance every game, every innings. He gives a chance when he's on 20, then when he's on 90. He's giving a chance. He gives 2, 3 chances a game. If you're not going to give, then of course he's kind of lucky. Like, I know he's the number one batsman right now in the world, so we have to respect. But there is a bit of luck there as well. It deserved, like, he's making his own luck. He capitalizes. That's another thing as well. But he's giving you chances. You can't be dropping him like that.
I agree 100%. I think the discipline has. This is the one. I mean, like, you can lose games and everything, but if you have, like, at least if you put in your 100% effort and not bowling 19 no balls in two Test matches, 19 no balls, and Australia has zero. There's a clear lack of discipline over there. That is a problem. I mean, even when yes, of course, the likes of Mitchell Stark has stepped up. The bowling is better from Australia. Everything that's great, but at least show the bare minimum of discipline. At least field well. At least
And
bat
also,
well.
they don't have their two main bowlers in Hazelwood and Cummins. You have to take advantage of that. I know
Exactly.
that India didn't have 3, 4 main players. They didn't have Bumrah, Ashwin, and they still won. And
Yeah.
Australia didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But even then, I criticized Australia, and now I'm criticizing England. Like,
Absolutely.
you have to. But in such a big series, you have to take advantage of it.
100%. There's no doubt about that. It's been an abysmal Test series so far. I think if this continues, it's easy 5-0 for Australia, which will be very, very heartbreaking for the English fans who've travelled and the Barmy Army who's probably going out there to spend a lot of money and putting in a lot of effort to be stuck over there for these
It's
many days
lowering
and
the
stuff.
value as well, right? Like, after what Flintoff and these guys did, even Strauss, and it's not just England, it's about even in the last Ashes series 2019, right? It was 2-2.
Yeah,
But Australia were away from home and
yeah,
they fought. Like,
yeah.
Australia made that series interesting and they retained the Ashes. They didn't win it, but they made that interesting. That's what you expect from England, like over here.
Absolutely. I 100% agreed. I think that a lot of the basics need to go back. They need to go back to the drawing board, get the basics right. They can continue to lose, but at least we need to see a lot more fight than we saw. At least a little bit of what we saw on that day five from Josh Butler. I think I expect that from all 11 players of the England cricket team.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I think
I
that
think that.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to add the Big Bash. Mitchell Marsh is killing it. He's doing really. He's turning out to be putting his name in the hat again for the IPL. But I just hope he doesn't get injured. I can't
Yeah.
believe some has had him in the last 2 years and couldn't utilize his abilities. He's been killing it there. Maxwell has 100 there as well. It looks like good batting tracks. I've seen a couple of hundreds of high 80s, 90s, and then your boy Rashid Khan picking up 3 wickets. The Big Bash is looking decent. I think a couple of Pakistani players will be coming in as well. The only thing I would say about the Big Bash is that because the current Australian team is
Missing.
on international duty, it takes the sheen out of it, the shine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But apart from that, I think it's a good tournament just to watch. Like
Absolutely.
especially
Zampa himself is doing very well as well.
yeah.
So yeah,
So
some good and exciting performances in the Big Bash as well. Something to look forward to over there because everyone's is pretty much it's like a dress rehearsal for the IPL auction. If you do
auction,
well
yeah,
here, you get good money in the auction. So looking
100%.
forward to that. It's gonna be an interesting few months of cricket that we have. Boxing Day coming up in the next couple of days. So looking forward
Yes.
to that. Big matches with India South Africa, the Ashes, the third Test match starting there as well. And looking forward to by then we will know that who the two new teams have retained. So we'll know when the IPL auction is as well. So a lot of cricket to look forward to. I cannot wait for it. And of course, I know that you can't as well. Looking forward to what is in store in the cricketing world. Until then, obviously, as usual, please catch everything that's up to date by my man Musti down the track. He gives you all the latest information, whatever is needed. All of that is right up there in the stories, in the chats, in the posts. Everything is all there. It's a one-stop shop for everything cricket for you.
Along with you, the secret weapon with all the side information about IPL, especially when it comes to IPL auction and everything, you know information 2-3 weeks in advance. So
Oh, I
that
wish.
that really helping me as well. No, seriously, like when it comes to like the KL Rahul stuff, the Rashid Khan, you know the numbers and everything, and you're very good with the data. So hopefully we'll get our. We'll make some fun things before the auction as well, like in terms of
Absolutely.
stats and everything,
Yeah.
and we'll really analyze it properly.
Yep. Looking forward to that, man.
All right, man. Enjoy, and I will
Take care.
catch you for the preview soon. Take
Yep.
care.
Take care.